Hey everyone, my name is Ronak, back with another video. This is 28th video in the Getting Started with the Machine Learning playlist, and in this video you are going to learn normalization. So this is one of the feature scaling procedures. Okay, so now what is feature scaling? That might be a great deal of question. So let me tell you, feature scaling is a process where you scale all the values with respect to a particular degree. So you have to try to avoid the, let's say, anything that is very large in number, because some of the machine learning algorithms particularly work with, let's say, data points which are very near to each other. Okay, so we want to avoid the higher variation between the data set, data values to be precise. Okay, so normalization is a feature scaling procedure in ML. All right, then it says problem 1. Okay, so there are two problems associated with the need of the feature scaling. So one of them is the problem of varying metric units causes issues with data inference interpretability. So what is that? So metric unit variance is where, let's say, you have two columns and both the columns vary with each other like enormously. All right, so I have also included one example. A great example can be given, such as a single data set having values like kilometers and meters in the same data set. Okay, so there is always going to be a large variance among those values, so we have to try to reduce them. Okay, we have to reduce that variance. Second problem is, second consideration is large magnitudes, like I told. So very large values are hard for the algorithm to handle. Okay, so this is the case with very large magnitudes. So let's say there are some values in thousands and there are some values in the similar data set in some other column in, let's say, decimals. Okay, very minute, near to zero. So that is going to cause a great deal of issue. So how do we actually overcome that? So using normalization should be done where there are distance measure and loss optimizers involved. Okay, so using the feature scaling itself is a big task. So where should you actually use it? That is the main question that would arise after, let's say, the two problems that we face with the normalization. Not normalization, with the need of the feature scaling. With the need of the feature scaling. So using normalization should be done where there are distance measures. So distance measure is where in the k-nearest neighbors. We have already learned that in the tutorials. I think that is 24th or 25th tutorial. All right. Second is where there are loss optimizers involved. Loss optimizers actually find the optimal values using the reduction mechanism, where we actually backtrace the parameters in order to manipulate them in order to match with the, in order to increase the accuracy. All right. So wherever there are loss optimizers involved, like let's say gradient descent, stochastic gradient descent, we should be considering normalization. And where you cannot, so if you are using, let's say, deep learning, in the deep learning, feature scaling is the one of the most important features, because you can get considerably a great performance with the feature scaling. Okay, so there are actually many methods in the feature scaling, but the widely used methods are normalization and second is standardization. Alright, so this actually improves the accuracy of your algorithm. Not just that, but it also helps you distinctly identify the variance between, let's say, the two type of algorithms. Okay, you can easily figure that out. Okay, so this approach is very bad, I would say, for decision trees. Okay, but it is really good when it is about, let's say, logistic regression, because you can use let's say a loss optimizer over that. After that, k-nearest neighbors, k-means clustering, support vector machine, all of these algorithms work very well after feature scaling. And the formula for normalization, which is one of the type of the feature scaling, is x normalized is equal to x minus x minimum. Okay, so let's say if there are 5 values in the column, so you are always going to select the lowest value and you are going to subtract the x value from it divided by the maximum minus minimum value, and you get a normalized value. So these values range between 0 to 1. Alright, these values will always range between 0 to 1. Please understand this. I'll just write that down. Okay, so the normalized values will always range between 0 to 1. Okay, this is very important. Please understand this. Now let us start with our implementation itself. So in sklearn, we use something known as min max scaler. So that helps us perform the normalization feature scaling. But right before that, today I wanted to introduce you to a new data set, which is the breast cancer. So we will actually start with that. So I'll say from sklearn.datasets import load underscore breast cancer. All right. So this is the data set available within the sklearn itself. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. And here I can say data is equal to, so data is just a variable that I'm taking, load breast cancer. All right, load breast cancer, and we have it. Oops, I forgot this. Yeah, and we have it. And now I'll also import pandas. So import pandas as PD. And another thing that I want to focus on, so I'll just say data, and I have all the values. Now this is very much, I would say, gibberish. So data holds all the values of your features. Target holds the values of your target class. All right, the one you, okay, so the target names are basically malignant and benign. So 0 states that the cancer is malignant, and 1 states that the cancer is benign. Okay, so one of them requires surgery, so that is a measure. Then in the description you can see breast cancer data set. All right, and all of the instances. So we have 569 values, and there are 30 numeric attributes. Okay, so there are 30 columns in this data set which actually state that whether the patient has malignant or benign. All right, the form of the cancer. So one can be, I think, treated with the chemotherapy, and other can be proceeded with the surgery. And similarly, I have also the feature name. So these are the features. So mean radius, mean texture, mean perimeter. So these are all the medical terminologies which actually help you determine whether a person has cancer or not. All right. So I'll for now just keep it like this. And the next step that I want to do is I want to extract all of those features into X and Y. So the way I do it, I'll say X is equal to, so yeah, I'll say X is equal to, I'll say PD dot data frame. All right, and in this I'm going to say data dot data. Why? Because my data had all the values, and later on here I'll say columns, and in this columns I'm going to say let's say all of my values. Okay, so I'll say data dot feature names. All right, feature names, and we have it. And now if I say X dot shape, I'll get 569 rows with 30 columns, and I can also say, let's say, X dot head, not an issue. And we have it. Okay, so all of the values are present over here. I can here say X dot columns, and I have the name of all of the columns which I'll be using. Later on I'll also make Y. So here I'll say PD dot series. Okay, because since it is let's say just single, all right, it is a single series. And the way I do it, so here I'll say data dot target, and I'll say column, I think it is column name, which is equal to, let's say, target. And we have an error. Okay, so I think it is just the name. All right, and we have it. And now I can say Y dot shape, and I can also say Y dot head. I think it works with the series. Yeah, it does work. And I can, yeah, now let us proceed with actually implementing this. Okay, so the first thing that we always have to do is X dot isNA. I'll have to check if there are any null values so that I can pre-process them. Okay, luckily I don't have any values. Similarly, I'll also check X dot D types, and all of them are float values. Never mind, we can proceed with this. So I'll start by implementing the k nearest neighbors. All right, so let us start with the KNN. Since the KNN is a distance measure algorithm, all right, you cannot use any other algorithms which are, let's say, not including distance within them. All right, or let's say are not including loss optimizers. So you don't. So basically those are trees. All right, decision tree, random forest, and I think XGBoost and all of. So basically bootstrap aggregation methods, you cannot use them. Those are useless with the, so the feature scaling is not going to work since you have only decisiveness over there. You either term the situation as yes or no, otherwise you are going to take some another route. So it really doesn't matter. Okay, coming back to point, we will actually cover that in the future tutorials. But for now, the way I do it, so I'll say from sklearn dot neighbors, I'll say import k nearest neighbors. So k neighbors classifier, and here I'll say model is equal to k neighbors classifier. Okay, I am not going to mention any parameters at the moment, so I'll just go with the defaults. And now I'll say, okay, so I'll first split the data. All right, so from sklearn dot model underscore selection, import print split, and our usual procedure, which is xtrain, xtest, and then we have ytrain and ytest. All right, and we have it. And now I'll say train test split. I'll split them, so I'll say x, y, and I don't actually let's say, okay, so we will actually also shuffle this, not an issue. So before that, I'll say test size. So these are 569 values. So let us say 0.1. So 57 values. Okay, so 56.9. So it is going to take seal. So 57 values are for testing, which is the 10% of 569. And later on, I'll say random state, random underscore state, and let us just say 100. Okay, so we want 5 shuffles. That's it. And now I'll say model dot fit, and here I'll say xtrain and ytrain, and we have it. And now I'll say model dot score. So I'm pretty much interested in the scoring. All right, at the moment I'm pretty much interested in the scoring. Okay, so I have 94% accuracy. And now I can say, let's say ypred is equal to model dot predict, and in this I'll say xtest. And now I'll say from sklearn dot matrix import accuracy score, and here I can say accuracy score, and it is going to take 2 parameters, that is my ytest and ypred. Okay, I've covered this everything, and we have 92% accuracy. So quite a little bit more deviation, so we can say the model is underfitting, but doesn't matter. Okay, we are above 90. Now here comes the moment, okay, where we are actually going to normalize those features. So right before doing that, what I'll do is I'll say xtrain, and I'll just check the let's say some random value. Okay, so I'll say dot loc, and let us check the 20th value. All right, and if you see, these values are very much varied. Okay, so there is sometimes 630, there is 96, and 520, 85. See, here are in decimal. So actually these values do hold some meaning, but for the model this is very, very hard. Okay, because the model always differentiates with respect to value, and such large variations is actually going to hamper its accuracy. See, since 94% is not a bad accuracy, but let's say you're dealing with some another kind of data, at that point of time it is going to be a very difficult process. Okay, so the way we do it, I'll say from sklearn dot pre-processing, I'm going to import mean max scaler. Okay, that is the name which is actually used, and here I'll say scaler, which is the name of the variable I'm making, and here I'll say mean max scaler. All right, and we have it. And now I'll let's say fit my data. So the way I do it, I'll say xtrain. Okay, you have to do it for both things. Okay, please understand it. So I'll say scaler, and I'll say fit underscore transform, and here I'm going to feed xtrain, and we have it. Okay, so now if I say xtrain, so this actually gets converted into a numpy array. All right, so here I say 20, and these are the same values that I have. Okay, so the 20th value, and everything has been scaled between 0 to 1, and this is actually going to affect your model in a very good run. Okay, so here I can again say scalar fit transform. You have to always do that. Okay, please understand this. And you don't have to do for let's say the y, okay, because it is only 0 and 1. We don't actually care about that, but yeah. And now what I'm going to do, since I'm very much cautious about the process, because I don't want to, okay, so we can actually try it, but here I'll make knn is equal to k nearest neighbors. I'm sorry, it is like this. All right, I have assigned, and now I'll say knn dot fit, and I'm going to feed it xtrain, since this xtrain are my normalized values. Okay, understand this. And now ytrain, and I have it. Now I can say knn dot score, and I can check for xtrain and ytrain, and we have 97% accuracy. See, suddenly there is a 3% rise, and now I can say accuracy. Okay, so right before that I'll say y norm predicted pred. Okay, so that is a normalized value prediction, and the way I do it, I'll say knn dot predict, and here I'll feed xtest, which are also my normalized values, and now I'll say accuracy score, y test and y norm pred. Okay, so this actually doesn't change quite much. Okay, it is as good as same. Let me check the x test values itself. Okay, so these are also normalized, not an issue, but yeah, we do get the same accuracy, but the model has learned in a better fashion. That is what we are particularly interested in. Okay, so we have 97% accuracy, which is a really, I would say, great accuracy. All right, because since you have trained and tested everything with, let's say, the normalized values, okay, which are between 0 to 1, there is sudden 3% rise in the training accuracy. Okay, so this is it about the normalization feature scaling. In the next tutorial, we are actually going to cover standardization, which is also one of the another methods which has a lot of statistics involved. Obviously, not to be scared of, you will learn everything, not an issue. Okay, I'll cover everything, so you don't have to worry about it a lot. So this is it for today's video. If you like my content, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you haven't, please do it. All right, so that, and click on the bell icon so that you get all of the notifications when I upload anything new. So this notebook will be uploaded in the GitHub repository in the form of the source code, which you can actually get in the description of this YouTube video. All right, so this is it, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.